Hello and welcome to Cons Weekly episode 3. Everyone wondered why the actual hell haven't I been uploaded for like 2 weeks? Well, it's pretty explainable. I had a final test. And that led to no uploads for 2 weeks. It's pretty sad. But hey, I'm back now. So I decided to spice things up with a devlog. And guess what? The project dates back to December last year. I haven't been so active on it lately, but I'm reviving it now. But now you may ask, why this project?
Emotional damn.
Buckle up, because we're about to dive into the nitty gritty Discord devlog. And without further ado, let's get into Cons Weekly episode 3, or shall I say devlog episode 1. So the bot I was talking about is named Patch. Like every single video game that Patch exploits. It was actually an AI generated name from a random website I found it. Anyways, this is supposed to be an economy bot like Dank Memer or any of those bots. In total, this bot currently has 8 commands, which you can actually subdivide them into 3 categories, which are shop, profile, and job. Starting with job category, it contains 3 commands, which are dropout, apply, and work. Let's start with apply command. This is a command you use to apply for a job. And in case you don't know, here's a flowchart on how this works. Basically, you start with an apply command. If the job is not detected, it shows the list of jobs for the users to see. However, if the job exists, then it applies the job to the user. Some jobs, however, may require you to get an item to get the job. When we have an apply command, we also have a dropout command. For dropout command, it is just as the name said, it drops you out from the current job. And yes, here's the flowchart for the dropout command. The bot takes the message, or should I say the command, and processes it if the user has a job or not. If the user doesn't have a job or doesn't exist in the database, it either yells either of user does not exist in this database or user does not have a job. However, if the user have a job, it removes that job from the user. Now for the work command, it will be one who gives you the money. The work command is special since you need a job and the job must be valid. Now here's the flowchart for the work command. It starts with only a simple syntax. This syntax checks if the users have a job. If yes, it looks at the rank that user is currently in. For example, if the user has a house cleaner job and the user is a normal house cleaner rank, the users earn 10 points, which I will change the name later based on the community section after this video was published. And when I say I will change the name, I mean the points, because that exactly was like for the devlog. Now we're done with the shop category. Let's take a look at the profile category. This one is a special one though, since there's only one command in this category. The command is balance command. The balance command is basically a profile command where it shows the user's information. And yes, here's the flowchart. What this does is basically takes the user's information from the database and then reads the information from the database. Then it converts the data into an embedded form, then sends the embed to the user. Now, onto the last category, the shop category. This category has 4 commands, which are shop, buy, trash, and inventory. Starting with shop command. the shop command allows the users every single item that the shop has. There are two types of shops in this bot, a normal one and the buffer one. A normal shop can be accessed without any special items. However, for the buffer shop, it can only be accessed by obtaining Lantern of Chromar. What this does is it basically takes the list of items in the shop, then converts it into an embed, which then sends to the user. And yes, you cannot get any errors on this one, so I'm not gonna show an alternative pathway. Then, with the buy command, it basically buys you the items from the shop. And also, this is a new command. So here's the flowchart. What this does is basically takes the info from the shop, and then it reads out the string of the item the user wanted. If the user doesn't have a sufficient credits, the bot yields user doesn't have a sufficient points. Or if the item doesn't exist in the shop, the bot yields item does not exist in the shop. However, if the user meets the requirements, which means they have sufficient credits and they also exist in the database by just typing any random command, then the bot buys the item for user, deducts the point, and give it to your user. And yes, when we talk about the buy command and the shop command, we also have the inventory command. It basically opens your bag, and yes, here's the flowchart. What this does is basically reads out the items in a user that the user has in the shop, but I haven't implemented the stacking system yet, so it would just be listed instead of stacking, and no errors are possible in this one. Now, the last command is called the trash command. This command basically takes a string from text from the space, and then it takes a look if the user has that item in the inventory. If not, the bot yields user doesn't have the item in the inventory. Or if the user doesn't exist in the bot's database, it yields user doesn't exist in the database. However, if the user meets the requirement, then the bot deletes the item from the user's inventory. Now, this is basically all for Cons Weekly episode 3 and also Devlog 1. But in Devlog 2, we're going to try to simplify the messy code that we have 400 lines of this. Anyways, without further ado, if you guys have a suggestion, feel free to comment in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in next week in Cons Weekly episode 4. Thank you for watching, and I hope I can see you guys again. Thank you. Also, before we end this video, it's basically what I never wanted to say, but if you could please press that subscribe button and the like button, I'm going to appreciate it so much. Thank you, and peace out. Goodbye.